This past weekend, I competed for the first time since blowing my elbow, and I thought I'd take a couple of minutes to reflect and share with you what was going on in my head in the weeks leading up to it and also on game day. Now, I'm sure, I know that the injury did have its impact on my headspace. In fact, I've never felt worse. Registering for this tournament, I have never felt worse. I was so afraid, and it wasn't a good feeling. There was no good feelings. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to quit. I didn't want to do it. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. But I knew myself well enough to know that I was quitting out of fear, and I wasn't going to forgive myself for that. It was going to be something that haunted me, and it would linger, and I needed to do this. I needed to make myself do this. And then I gave myself permission that if I didn't have fun, I didn't ever have to do it again. But yeah, I never felt worse. And it wasn't just the injury either. There was other stuff. There was some comments made by some well-meaning people that kind of took my confidence out at the knees. And I kind of had to rebuild my belief in myself up after that. And then there was also, I started a new job, and there was stuff going on with the kids. So there was all these things going on. And then also I was starting to feel a lot of stress because I hadn't proven myself as a blue belt yet. I had competed at a little in-house tournament about a month after I got promoted. I think I was about 6 months postpartum, and it was my first tournament in a couple of years because I took some time off to have my boys. And then I was also competing against guys, so I didn't really set myself up for a win there. But I mean, I still got a silver and a bronze, so not awful, but more than the results, it was how I felt mentally. It was awful. I felt awful. I froze up, and I blanked, and I forgot all my jiu-jitsu, and I panicked, and it didn't feel good. It wasn't fun for me. And then the next one was grappling industries, where I felt a little better, but I didn't feel great mentally. And then performance-wise, I had about 30 seconds of a match before I blew my elbow to bits. So I hadn't proven to anyone, myself included, that I belonged with these girls. Now, this part is straight up blue belt wisdom, so take it with a grain of salt. But personally, I believe that the mental aspect of jiu-jitsu and competing specifically is a lot like any other part of your game, in that you can work on it. If you take armbar defense, let's say, and you're terrible at it, you can learn about it, and you can work on it, and you can get better at it. It is not something that is intrinsically part of who you are. Now, there may be some people that pick it up more naturally, and there may be some people that have to work on it for longer before it's good, but it is something that is available to everyone to get better at. And that's very much how I view the mental side of it. I knew that I was not in a good place. It was not going to go well for me if this was the headspace I was going into a tournament with. So I worked on it. I read a couple of books, and I watched some podcasts, and I talked to some people that I deemed mentally tough, and then I worked at it. So specifically, I took some time to think about why exactly I was afraid. What was I afraid of? Because I wasn't afraid of losing. I actually think that if I'm not losing occasionally, then I'm sandbagging, and I'm not in the right division. So losing was fine, and I really wasn't worried about getting injured again. Like, it sucked, and I would rather not, but I get injured all the time. It's no big deal. So it wasn't that. I was worried about embarrassing myself, and I was nervous that I was going to let my team down. And really, the biggest component was I was afraid of being afraid, because I had been afraid in those last two tournaments. And so I took some time, and I dealt with these issues one at a time. Was I going to embarrass myself? Unlikely. Was my team going to be upset with me? Oh my goodness, no. If I went in prepared and I gave it my all, nobody's going to be upset with me. Now, the fear aspect one, that was the last one that I had to dismantle. And what I came to realize is that I do jiu-jitsu because I love it. I love it so much. I pay good money to do it. And I do it all the time. I train as much as I can because I love it. Even when I am getting my behind handed to me at the gym, I'm all smiles. Like, I'm never afraid in the gym. and I didn't need to be at a tournament. And this was something that I went over and over in my head again. And then I got to tell you, on game day, it all came together beautifully. For having started in the worst possible mental place I have ever been in, on competition day, it was the best mentally I have ever felt. And I've had some good showings. I've won double gold, and I've got a solid white belt resume. And I've had good mental days as well, but this was by far the best that I have ever felt mentally. Competition day is always a little bit like Christmas to me. Like, you count down for it for so long, and then it's a little bit hard to believe that it's finally here, and it's exciting, and you can't sleep the night before. And then I get a lot of really happy, excited energy when I'm at the tournament. Like, I get really friendly, and I love everyone, because I do. I really do love everyone there. Yeah, I've just bathed a little bit in ecstasy. So besides the whole I'm feeling good all day, other than that, I really carried no emotion with me onto those mats. I always find the bullpen part a little socially awkward. I never know, like, okay, she looks about my size. We'll probably be competing. Should I be friends with her? Or, like, should we wait till after? Did I talk to her? I never really know how to navigate that part. But other than that, I wasn't intimidated at all. I wasn't thinking, I never thought about the clock. I never thought about the points. I never had so much as an oh no moment, like when I got swept, or there were some really good submission attempts, or one time I got my back taken for a little while, and I was never, it was never concern. It was always, okay, this is where I am, and I know what I need to do to get out of here, and now I do it. And that was it. There was no frustration. There was no panic. It was a surreal feeling. And I really think if I can recreate that for my next tournaments, that I'll be set. Like, it was a really good feeling. And performance-wise, it was really good too. I didn't freeze up. I was able to take some risks. I felt very free to play my game. It was a good feeling. So performance-wise, I won my first match by mounted guillotine. Tough opponent. My second match in my division, she was up on points, but then there was a floppy wrist incident, and I watched the video. It looks like I'm tapping in, but there was no danger in sight. I wasn't trying to stop the match, so that was very unsatisfying. The good news was I had already qualified for the open division, so all the different weight divisions in together, and my first match in that was against her again. So I got my redemption match, and I smoked her. I beat her by 13 points, and it was a statement piece for sure. And then my second match in the open, I lost to a girl she was just better than me, and I found a lot of flaws in my game that I can work on, so that's always good too. But the whole day, I had fun. Like, it was such a good experience. It's my favorite tournament I've ever done. So I would love to know what you guys do to mentally prepare for tournaments. Any thoughts, comments, questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will see you on the mats.